Welcome back to Learn SKN, and today we're looking at number 4 from the May-June 2025 POB paper. And so we look at questions 1, 2, and 3 before, so check the channel for those videos so you can look through those questions, right? So today we're going to jump into question number 4. And of course, before we do so, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, hit the bell to know when we drop question 5 and whatever other papers you might come up with to drop, right? So you have to stay connected. You have to be a part of the community, help it grow, help it become larger than it is. So we are en route to 50K, right? Small target, but 50K, right? To help us to grow with this one. All right, let's jump right into this question. Number 4, outline 2 roles of transportation in the marketing of goods. All right, so again, one thing with POB at the Csec level, the textbook that was written for this thing is just on point, right? You jump to the textbook and you get all the answers that you desire. But of course, I don't want you to put them verbatim, word for word. I want you to apply what you know. So let's look at marketing. Marketing, the 4 P's: product, price, placement, promotion. 4 P's of marketing. So how can transportation assist in those 4 P's? All right, good. So if you look at, let's say, product and even place, the physical supply of goods, it moves finished goods from the producer to the middleman to the consumer. So we know that part of marketing is getting the product from the producer to the final consumer. And so, of course, transportation assists in that regard, because how are you going to get the product from the manufacturer to the retailer to the wholesaler without it being transported? It's not going to teleport, right? It's not going to just automatically appear there. So you need transportation to get the physical goods from where it was made to where it's being sold. And so that's how we can see transportation assisting right there with, of course, the placement and the product itself in terms of marketing. If you're looking at other aspects of marketing, the impact on sales. Remember, again, marketing, getting the product from where it is made or where it is sold to the final consumer. And one of the biggest issue is pricing. Pricing can impact whether you buy something or not. And when the pricing is one of those 4 P's, and pricing is the only P that can really show a change in your revenue. And so we can look at it from 2 aspects: the effective sourcing of materials, that's how transportation helps there, and also the impact on sales, and also the security of supply. We can look at these 3 and see how transportation assists in those regards. For example, sales. Remember, demand up. People want your product. But guess what? If they can't get it in time, then how are they going to buy it? So when you have fast, efficient, reliable transportation, it can increase sale because it gets the product to the consumer in a faster manner, in a more timely manner. And that can lead to you being known, given a reputation of being very reliable. People are going to know, okay, this company, once I want something, I go there, it's going to be there, because they have a very reliable and efficient transportation mechanism. And so it helps sales, because you cannot sell what you don't have. So if it's there on time on the shelves, of course you can sell it. So efficient transportation helps with that. Sourcing of raw materials, or sourcing of materials in general. Remember, if you're able to source materials cheap in terms of the cost, that can help keep your costs down. And then in the end, you can pass that savings on to your customers. So right there again, it impacts the P of price in the 4 P's of marketing, because you can bring the prices down if you have an efficient supply chain, and that part of that is transportation. You're able to get raw materials in a cheap enough manner from a decent supplier to keep you competitive and to help to reduce your price overall. Security of supply. Effective transportation makes sure that you can get your supply when you need it, similar to the impact on sales, but at least you have it stored or you can get it in time to sell. And so you don't want any transportation networks that create bottlenecks that you're unable to maintain your supply for your product, right? So you can see how transportation can help in all these aspects of marketing: the pricing, the product being where it needs to be, And even with promotion, you can help with promotion, because if you're able to have a nice secure supply, then you can say, okay, buy one get one half off, because you have the level of supply right there. So you can impact that way. You can again, if you have an efficient supply, you can even, if you're sourcing your materials from the right place, you can say, okay, discount, because you know you're passing on some of the savings to your customers, right? So that's a simple answer for that particular question. So this question is asking us to identify the most suitable mode of transportation for the movement of each of the following products: vaccines from Canada to Grenada, lumber from parish of St. Joseph to the parish of St. George in Dominica, statistics and Csec results from Barbados to St. Lucia, and crude oil from Trinidad and Tobago. So what is the best mode of transportation for these different items? Alright, so if you're looking at the vaccine from Canada to Grenada, I would say air would be the best mode of transportation, because for one, you might need it in a quick manner, fast, and vaccines are not that heavy, and so moving them from air, via air, from Canada to Grenada, you get it fast, you get it in a timely manner, because I mean, vaccines might be time sensitive, it's medicine, and it might be a little bit more secure, because studies have shown that air is one of the safest ways to travel, right? So air would be the one for that one. I like how they say most suitable, right? Because you know you can use certain things for certain things, but it says most suitable, so they want us to think it through. All right, lumber from the parish of St. Joseph to, okay, so lumber, bulky, but cost efficient to transport, but it's on island, the same island, so naturally land would be the best mode of transportation for lumber from parish of St. Joseph to the parish of St. George in the same island, so land transport. Statistics on 6 results from Barbados to St. Lucia. The best one for that one would be digital, right? Digital transportation, right? Or digital delivery, because I mean, it's data, so you don't need to send data via anything but digitally. Crude oil from Trinidad to Tobago. So the best one would be, for crude oil and those things, would be pipelines, right? Pipelines are some of the best way to transport liquids, gases, and chemically stable substances. A pipeline would be one of the best mode of transport for crude oil. So those are the ones. So again, from Grenada, that's air, land, digital, and of course pipeline. All right, moving right along. State 2 problems that may be encountered in the distribution of mangoes from the Caribbean to the United States of America. So in our books, we have a whole bunch of problems outlined and ways to mitigate against these problems. So if we're talking about perishable goods, naturally spoilage would be a problem, and so to ship them from Grenada to America, spoilage can become a problem, especially if they are maybe overripe or they are bruising up against each other, that kind of thing. Once it's perishable, then spoilage becomes a major problem for any kind of transportation, especially from Caribbean to the United States. So spoilage. Then we have delayed shipment. I mean, this can be a problem for any kind of transportation, delayed shipment, right? That can be a problem for any transport, because something might happen on the docks, something might happen with the weather, those kind of things. So there might be some delay. So that's a problem for any kind of shipping that might be going out, or even a plane that might be going out, delayed shipment. And if it's anything coming from one port to the next, misdirection of goods. You might have labeled the goods and then they're gone from the Caribbean to some other place, right? They might just gone somewhere based on a mistake made by somebody somewhere, right? Then of course you have a lot of them, lack of security, lot of proper security measures. I mean, you know, some people are thief, you know, the little stealing might go on. You know, somebody see the mango, they love the mango, and you might have shipped 100 pounds, by the time they reach, only 50. Because somebody somewhere decided to take 1 or 2 off the top of the container, right? So that's a problem right there, especially if you're shipping via those long distances. So all of these are problems you can highlight. right? Ineffective communication. Somebody might lost something somewhere. You might put on the wrong labeling and that kind of thing, and then you can't find the package. You don't know the name of the package. It might not be able to be tracked properly. So that's a problem. Inadequate warehousing facilities. Again, because this is perishable goods. It might be a point where maybe you don't have enough cold chains, might not have enough chills. The boat might not have the warehouse might not have all of these facilities to keep the mangoes chilled enough so that they don't get spoiled too fast, right? So that could be a problem right there when you're shipping these kind of produce, right? So those are some problems that they can encounter in shipping the mangoes. Other than the use of GPS, outline 2 measures that firms could take to reduce some of the problems encountered in the distribution of goods globally. So we can revert to the very same table because they have ways to mitigate these problems. So we have a whole list here. Insurance, for sure, because if your goods go missing or they get damaged, you should be compensated. So you can use insurance as a risk, a measure to, ease some of the risk that comes with shipping things globally. We are all in a more globally connected world, and so we have seen examples where we use freight forwarders, and thank goodness for insurance. Something about TVs get damaged, whatever get damaged, we get reimbursed for those damages. So insurance is one way to kind of mitigate some of the risk associated with the shipping of goods. Of course, you can select the appropriate channel of distribution. So if these things are perishable, let's use a plane because it might be faster. Or if it's bulky, let's use a boat, etc., etc. You have to look at the cost implications. So choose the correct channel for distributing whatever the item is. You have to think about the speed in which you want it to reach, the reliability, the cost, etc. So select the appropriate means of getting the products from one port to the next. Use services that have a good reputation. There are some couriers out there that might have a bad reputation, and so they sending the packages all over the world, redirecting because they just don't have that skill set. And so choosing one that is always reliable for the most part would be one way of mitigating the issues. Proper labeling of the packages so they don't go to the wrong place, so they know who it belongs to, so they know what's inside, so you don't treat them a certain way, right? If it's fragile, make sure you put on fragile so that people know what's happening. Make sure you have proper security, whether on the receiving end or on the departure end, so that people can say, okay. And of course, make sure you document what you're doing. So in hand with proper security, make sure you make proper documentation, right? Proper labeling documentation, because you want to know, okay, 100 pounds left here, so expect to receive 100 pounds. So if there's a discrepancy, you have your documentation, and that can help with security also. Right? Get your cameras, get your guards, get people you could trust, all those things to make sure that what is being shipped is what is being received. Spoilage, to mitigate spoilage, of course, make sure you have the proper storage. Make sure you have the cold chains. If it's disposable, if it is perishable goods, make sure they're able to be stored properly so that they don't spoil along the way, especially if it's food items. Right? So these are just some measures you can use to ensure or try to mitigate some of the issues, problems, or reduce some of the problems that comes with shipping globally. Alright, so the last question here. Queenstown Trade Inc. provides distribution services for a wide range of imported and locally produced goods. The firm has a fleet of 10 trucks, and the managers want to use global GPS in the management of the company's transportation. Explain 2 benefits Queens Traders Inc. could gain by utilizing GPS in the management of its transportation. So I guess that is why they say other than GPS up here, because we don't want to answer the question twice. Alright, so this one is kind of obvious, kind of easy, right? Because GPS would help you to track your products, right? Right here in our book we have here, GPS in the business field is used to help reduce costs and to add to the level of revenues through improvements in efficiency, planning, and control. For example, salespeople or company representative can avoid getting lost on the way to meeting clients simply by activating GPS. Truck drivers can also plan out routes and deliver goods on time using GPS, which identifies traffic and shows the fastest routes. And at home, the office, the manager can monitor the location of trucks out in the field. Overall, it's therefore. So let's break down this for the shipping, transportation sector. So one time right there, it helps you to reduce costs. Helps to reduce costs. How does it help to reduce costs? Because it allows you to be more efficient. Choose the proper routes. So fuel is not cheap, and so you don't want to be going around and around choosing a longer route, and you need to. And so fuel is not cheap, and so you're able to save money right there. Not only that, but it helps you to save on time. Remember, time is money in the world of business. So you are able to save on time because you're able to schedule more efficient routes and things like that. You're also able to not only save money, but also able to control. So saving money, we understand that because it allows you to be able to be more efficient, plan ahead, foresee some of the problems so you can overstep them. So you're able to save money based on saving time, saving resources, saving fuel, that kind of thing. Secondly, it allows you a greater control of your goods while they're in transit, while they are being shipped, etc. Because you are able to actively, in real time, track where your products are. So you're able to know, okay, if you go missing, you're able to step back and track back and see, okay, maybe it's between here. So if it gets lost, you might be able to find them because of the ability to track where they are going. You're able to control the supply chain a little better because you're able to track where they are going. Not only the goods, but also the workers, right? That might sound a little Orwellian or whatever, but you're able to track the vehicles that the workers are using, so you can, control whether your workers are, out there joyriding in the vehicles or not, right? So you can see those ways in which GPS can help in terms of the transportation sector. Save money, save time, save resources, help you to control what is happening, help you to be more in tune, help you to be able to track what is happening, so you're able to know, okay, this is supposed to be here, it's there. So all those logistics can really help with your business, help you control the business. So imagine before GPS, what would you do? You ship something and hope for the best on the other end. You might hear 3, 4, 5 weeks later, yet it has arrived safely or not, right? But with GPS now, you're able to see in real time where they are, updates, etc., etc. Right? So those are two ways in which it can really, the company can gain by using GPS in their fleet, in their organization. If you want to, you can break down these different areas, efficiency-wise, planning-wise, control-wise. You can break them down to suss out your two points. You can break it down in efficiency and explain how GPS leads to more efficiency in terms of route changing, in terms of your resource plan, your resources being utilized. You can break it down into planning, where you can use GPS to plan your routes as a delivery person, plan the distance, the fuel charge, that kind of thing. Again, you can use break it down to control, in terms of controlling the workmen, controlling the product, controlling the route, controlling those kind of things. Totally fine, right? But in all, this is how we can see GPS being advantageous to that particular company. So that's it for this question, number 4. Stay tuned for question 5, which is the last question for this paper. So we look at that next, right? So like, subscribe, hit the bell, and that is it for this particular question.